Hello, welcome back to the Temple of the Holy Beard. I'm Pastor Dave. It's good to have you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll try to make this quick because it just started raining. The purpose of this video is a little bit of news that's not in the news. And specifically, we're going to be talking about the evictions and repossessions. And I've touched on it a little bit on previous videos, but they're definitely on the rise. It seems as though the evictions are just flying off the shelf at this point. And homelessness is on the rise. So I'll say this, for one thing, if you or someone that you know is in this sort of situation, try to extend a hand. Maybe a friend or a family member has a room that you can rent or use while you get up on your feet, because being homeless is not fun. It's, nobody wants to be in that situation. Try to help yourself and help your others. Help your loved ones, help your friends, help your family members, whoever you can that might be coming into this situation. A lot of the evictions that we're seeing right now seem to be people from that were impacted from the early days of COVID. You may or may not remember, but a lot of people lost their jobs. Once the government did the lockdowns and didn't allow more than a certain amount of people in a building, that sort of thing, a lot of companies had to send people home. Any company that could allow you to work from home, even if it wasn't your normal daily routine or if it wasn't really desirable, if they could let you work from home and make money off you, they were doing it. And a lot of people were upset. I know people that were upset saying, well, I can't do my job from home. Well, maybe you can't do your normal job from home, but the companies were letting you do something else, like, paperwork or something like that. It's not fun, but the paycheck kept coming in. But unfortunately, for a lot of people, this wasn't the case. A lot of people, the companies couldn't allow them to work from home, didn't have anything they could do, or weren't able to make money off them in that situation. If the company can't make money, they can't pay a paycheck. So as sad as that is, that's reality. And so unfortunately, a lot of people lost their paychecks in those situations, which, that rolled out to a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. They don't have anything extra. They don't have a buffer. And so, there was nothing to turn to. There were no other jobs because everybody in the country, everybody in the world was in that situation. So on a normal day, if you lose your job, you can often go and apply. And even if you have to do something a little bit less desirable, you can be employed, within a month or so, typically, depending on where you're at. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But when you lose your job, I say make your job into finding a new job. Spend your time looking for another job and replace that income as fast as you can. However you need to do it. Like I said, even if it's something less desirable, even if it's a little bit less money, if it will pay your bills, it will save you. And unfortunately, like I said, during that time frame, this just wasn't the case. Everything dumped out. So, there were no other jobs to be found because every company was in that same situation. So unfortunately, that hit everybody. Whether it hit you directly or indirectly, that hit everybody. And I think a lot of what we're seeing right now are the evictions that finally caught up. A lot of areas did a moratorium on evictions. The U.S. government did one in general that lasted a while. And then once the moratorium expired and courts were allowed to start working in that direction, it's going to take them a long time to get caught up. And, they're working through it. And I think they're working through it as fast as they can because a lot of people are seeing it. And that's not a good thing. So that's why I say if you have a friend or a family member that's in that situation, offer them your couch, offer them a spare room, especially if they've got young children. Do what you can to help them get back on your feet. And a lot of companies are hiring now, and I don't really get this. Here, help me answer this question. Now that we're changed our normal daily routine, I say we're still in the COVID era, but it's never going to go away. But a lot of companies are back up on their feet, and they're trying to hire. Pretty much everybody has a now hiring sign, and they really want to hire, but they can't hire. Nobody wants to work. People that do work oftentimes only come in for a day or a couple days or a couple hours, and then they quit and they leave. And I think it's those short-term employments that make the job numbers that the government's spewing makes them look good, because this person got a job. Even though they were only there for an hour, they got a job. So, technically they were employed during that month. However, there's also, I'm hearing stories about companies that are hiring, they're trying to hire, they're advertising it, but they're not actually hiring, which that's not a good thing either. There's a lot of people that are trying to work, that are willing to work, that do apply for these positions, but the companies just doesn't hire them. In part, I'm hearing because they're not sure about the future. They don't know how everything's going to spin out. They don't want to hire someone just to have to fire them in a month or two. Hey, I get that. Again, that's the world we're living in now. But a lot of what I'm seeing, unfortunately, there are companies that legitimately want to hire, but people don't want to work. Even young people, that's the saddest. Young people just don't want to work. I know a number of companies that are more than happy to bring in a young person, zero experience, and teach them from the ground up, but they can't find anybody who wants to work. Well, if you don't work, you don't have income. How do you pay your bills? That's my question. How are these people paying their bills? If they're not willing to work, where are they getting money from? Hence the evictions. And I think of the evictions, a lot of them are good people who would pay the bills if they could, but they just can't. And then you get people that don't want to work. In addition to the evictions, there's a huge rise in automotive repossessions. I'm hearing stories of auto repossession companies who are just slammed. They're taking care of all the business that they can. They're doing as many repos as they can. They're working overtime, sometimes 24-hour shifts for some of these drivers, and they're trying to get caught up, but they have so many repossession notices coming in that they can't keep up with it. So the moral of this story is, for one thing, if you're behind on your rent, you're behind on your car payment or any other payment that you owe, credit card, taxes, anything, if you're behind and you owe money to anybody, do everything that you can to get caught up. The first thing you should do, the very first thing you should do, is contact that creditor. Contact that person that you owe money to, talk to them and try to work it out. Tell them your situation and make a deal. Because maybe you're struggling to make your payment as it is. But if you can make a little bit more each month, at least it shows that you're trying. On the other hand, some of them might say you're too late. And in that case, you need to decide where and what to do about that. And different situations warrant different responses. That kind of comes off badly, but point is, you owe that money. That's your debt. You need to take responsibility for it. And a problem that we have right now in society is a lot of people can't because they don't have a job. Some people won't because they're not willing to work. And a lot of people, especially younger people, are being taught or somehow getting the idea that they don't need to take responsibility for anything, whether it's money they owe. Well, you know what? You bought that vehicle. You bought it. You chose to purchase that vehicle. And now you don't want to make the payments on it? No. You're more than happy to drive it. You're more than happy to do whatever you need to with it. You need to make the payment on it too. Same goes, it doesn't matter what you owe. If you borrow the neighbor's lawnmower, when you're finished, bring it back. Bring it back as good or better condition as it was. If it was dirty when you got it, clean it up real nice, give it a full tank of gas, and then bring it back. That's the olden way. That's the old school, the way we used to do things. That's the way I was taught to do things. And that's the right way to do. If you owe, you stand up for it. You take responsibility for it and you pay it off. Even if it means you're struggling. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's a car payment, if it's a house payment, if it's student loans, if you borrowed $20 from somebody, it's your responsibility to pay that back. So that's the moral of this story. Just wanted to get it out as repossessions and evictions are in a huge rise right now. Unemployment and unemployment and homelessness is at a huge rise. Don't believe what they tell you. Talk to people. Get words from people on the ground, people who actually see it, know what's going on. They'll tell you the truth. That's where I'm getting most of my information from, is from people that are on the ground that see it firsthand. And so it's out there. It's coming. I hope you're not in that situation. Do whatever you can to keep yourself out of that situation. If you need help, if you need advice, I'm here. I'm more than happy to help. Another thing you can do is reach to friends, family members, elders. There's a lot of information out there that are at your fingertips. That's good information that can help you get through. If you're willing to work and you're just not making enough money, shop around. Right now, like I said, everybody's hiring. Everybody. Every company out there. And so if you're not happy where you're at, find someplace else. If you're not making enough money, find someplace else. Where there's a will, there's a way. Maybe look at taking a second job. A lot of people do it. That's the way we used to do things, but nowadays people don't do that anymore. Take a second job, whether you're working on the evenings, weekends, whatever you need to do, but get caught up and do everything you can to get out of debt. Because right now, if you're not behind on your payments, then you don't need to worry about these evictions and repos. But going into the future, I keep saying I foresee times getting a lot tougher before they get any better. So you might be roughing it right now, things might be tight, but prices are going to continue to go up. Things are going to keep getting tougher. So if you can put in a little extra right now, and pay it down and get caught up, it's going to help you 10 times over in the future when we come ahead. So, try to get ahead so it doesn't hit you or doesn't hit you as hard when it comes. So yeah, that's the moral of the story. It's out there. It's hitting a lot of people. I hope it's not hitting you. If it does, my sympathy. But do everything you can to pay down your debt, get out of debt. Sell it if you need to sell it. Do whatever you need to do. Take responsibility for your debt. Take responsibility for your actions. And be a mature adult about it. If I missed anything or if you have anything to add, please let me know in the comments section. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that like button and please share it with your friends, your followers, anybody else you can. Let's get the word out. And if there's anybody who's like-minded, who enjoys the Temple of the Holy Beard and shares our beliefs, please encourage them to join. Encourage them to subscribe to this video, join the Facebook group, join the website, whatever. Come be a part of it. There's a lot of really good information that's out there. And let's come together as a group, as a community, and help make everything a better place. Help each other out. So again, I'm Pastor Dave for the Temple of the Holy Beard, and I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.